Who's ready for some more historical romance novels? Welcome back to my channel. My name's Bee. This is my romance corner, and today I want to talk to you guys again about some really good historical romance novels. All of these books that I'm going to mention today have one thing in common, and that is a hardened hero. I love books with a hardened hero because our heroine just has to really do the darn thing. She has to come at him with all of his past trauma and either love him for exactly who he is and accept him for exactly who he is, or she's able to teach our hero that life is much different than the one that he's led up until the moment he's met her. Throughout the story, it unfolds the reasons why he is the way he is. And my goodness, your heart really goes out to these guys. These are 3 books that I thought were so good. The hardened hero was very much represented in a way that made me feel for them and made me root for them. The first one on my list is The Duke with a Dragon Tattoo by Kerrigan Byrne. This book is part of the Victorian Rebel series. This is book number 6. This book starts off with our heroine, Lauralee, who is in the carriage with her father and her brother. Right off the bat, let me tell you, you are going to hate her brother. Her brother is the epitome of just a spiteful, nasty, psychopathic, arrogant, disgusting human being. He loves to upset and torment and hurt the people that he's supposed to care about for nothing more than entertainment purposes. You are going to hate him. You're going to feel so sorry for the heroine and the people that her brother Mortimer, whose lives he touches. It's awful. And her father, who sits by idly and is basically a silent participant because he doesn't step in. The book starts off with our heroine in the carriage with her father and her brother, and she believes that she sees the body of a dead person in the road, and she wants to help. She wants to notify the authorities. They get to the body and they see that this young boy is alive. When they get to this boy, they realize that he's been badly injured. He's not dead, but he has been badly beaten and burned, and they take him to their estate. When this boy finally comes to, you realize that he has no memory of who he is, where he came from. He doesn't even know his name. He doesn't know how old he is. The only clue that he has as to who he might be is this dragon tattoo that's half burnt on his body. Him and Lauralee have a connection. They are really fast friends. Lauralee has this really cute nature about her where she wants to take care of wounded animals that she's found and nurse them back to health. Once our hero has seen something really nasty that her brother has done to her in front of his face, he might not know who he is, he might not know his name or where he came from, but he doesn't think he's a very good person because he immediately thinks of different ways that he could punish Mortimer for treating Lauralee that way. Lauralee and Ash, our hero, are both badly broken and alone in their own ways, and that throughout the process of Ash healing creates this bond between the two of them. It creates young love and something really kind and sweet and beautiful in this awful situation that they're both in. After Ash has healed completely, he is given a job opportunity, and before he leaves, he looks at Lauralee with all these feelings inside of himself, unable to say anything. He wants to tell her that he loves her, but he doesn't, and instead he tells her one thing. There are 2 indisputable facts in this world. 1 is that the sun will always set in the west, and 2, that I'll always come back for you. And that's it, okay? So the book basically starts off 20 years after he said that. And you're like, oh my god, so much time has passed. They're definitely not going to be the same people, and they're not. But what a wild ride we're in for, right? So much stuff has happened to both of them, and then they come back together. What's going to happen? The next book on my list is Duke of Sin by Elizabeth Hoyt. This book took me on a wild ride I didn't know I needed. This book This book, the hero, Val, was amazing. He was probably my favorite one on this list. And it's just for the simple fact that he is too much. He was so funny because he lived for getting a rise out of people, for being way too much. He is so aristocratic. He is so wild. He is so out there. He was sassy as hell. Hell, he was so free in some ways, but also so tortured and so closed off in others. He was outrageous. He would say outrageous things. The book starts off with our heroine, Bridget, who has become a housekeeper and entered in the Duke of Montgomery's household to gather incriminating evidence against her aristocratic mother to keep her from being extorted. And so she's there looking for incriminating things. She's looking for evidence. She believes that the Duke of Montgomery has been gone and away. She can search the house till her heart's content. But little does she know, the Duke has been watching her the entire time, and he's just made himself known. And she's caught red-handed. But the thing is, the Duke of Montgomery, Val, our hero, he is unlike any hero that I've ever read in my entire life. He is so a lot. He is out there, he's vain, he is always looking to get a rise, a reaction out of people. He lives a life of excess in every manner you can think of. He is so free in some ways and also very closed off and unapologetic and unemotional, just completely detached in other ways. He's a very complicated character, but let me tell you, he doesn't really care that he caught her. It was more just her embarrassment of him catching her amused him. And he lets her go about her work after that. He's very curious about what she's about, and he believes that he's going to figure that out. He's back in the public eye because he is intent on revenge against the people that have wronged him, and that's all he cares about. He doesn't care that Miss Bridget here, his housekeeper, was looking through his things. He is just, it's mostly just whatever to him, curiosity more than anything. I was so curious to get some insight into his childhood to see what happened to him, what made him this way. And let me tell you, when you do get exposed to what happened to him as a child, it's not okay. You really do just become more endeared to him the way he is. He You feel sad on his behalf because he can't even feel sad for himself. He doesn't know to be sad for himself. He will lay out a horrifically sad story, straight faced, as if he's telling you some sort of factual information. And you're sitting there like, oh my god, this poor kid that this happened to him. And Bridget is there to remind him of what is right and what is wrong. And I think that that is absolutely what he needed. Loved him, loved her, loved them both. This book was amazing. I had so much fun. My heart hurt. It was emotional. I laughed. Oh man, you're gonna laugh at some of the stuff that Val says. It's too much. I'm hilarious. Please pick this one up. This one was 5 stars for me. Loved it. Pick this one up. You won't be disappointed. The last one on my list is A Lady's Code of Misconduct by Meredith Duran. Jane, our heroine, has had it rough. She lives with her uncle, her aunt, and her cousin in the countryside. She's been living with them for 6 years since her parents died, and she has been emotionally beaten down. She no longer wants to be someone at the forefront of their discussion or thoughts. All she wants to do is blend into the background. She hides her intelligence and her true self from everyone around her, and everyone believes the facade that she puts on. Even our hero buys into it. Our hero's name is Crispin Burke. He is a crooked politician in want of more power. Jane was left an heiress after her father died, and her uncle's had her under his thumb, always had a careful eye on her. He plans to gain control of her funds by having her marry her cousin. Jane is done with playing by the rules. She wants to find a way out of this, and she does. She concocts a plan to get herself a marriage of convenience. She can sneak away in the dead of night and marry someone so that she could maintain her freedom and live her life without ever seeing these people ever again. Her plan, unfortunately, does not work out for her, and she finds herself in front of Crispin Burke, our hero, and he sees her for who she truly is. An intelligent mind that was even so much more intelligent because she was able to go undetected in the house. He decides that he wants to use that to his advantage, so he offers her advice in exchange for information. She's to listen in on her uncle's discussions and report back to him. When we meet our hero, he is definitely cold, he's definitely manipulative. He is not by any means a kind person. He will look for an in anywhere and make it happen for himself because all he cares about is obtaining more power. He has no emotions. He will extort and blackmail to get what he wants. Even people that consider him friends and allies, those mean nothing to him. One night when Burke is attacked and left for dead, Jane must think quickly because her uncle wants to marry her off now. She is not going to have any of the time that she thought that she'd have to think of a plan to get herself out of this mess, and she makes a spur of the moment decision that gets her in a lot of trouble because when Burke, whom she thought would be dead, wakes up, he has amnesia, and she's put it out there that they are married, and so she can't marry her cousin, and everyone believes it. And now she's in this big mess because she thought that she would just look like a widow. But now she's married to this man whom she doesn't even like, and he doesn't even know who he is. And to top it all off, she feels really bad because he doesn't remember the version of himself that she knows so much. He's not a cold person at all, not this version of him. He's very kind and he takes his marriage seriously and he considers her an ally and a friend because she's his wife, and he must have felt certain things about her because they're married. It gives him hope and warmth, and he wants companionship with her, and she's very off put by this because she does not know who this man is. And you're just in for a time after that because what made him the man he was when we met him, when we first met our hero? What path led him to that? And who is he really? Is he that cold, manipulative man from the beginning that didn't care at all for our heroine and even insulted her? Or is he the man after the accident who's kind and gentle and thoughtful, who cares about her thoughts and her wants, her feelings more than anything? Or is it a bit of both? Definitely pick this one up. I enjoyed seeing the change in Crispin. I thought that he became such a great hero. I thought he was very intriguing even before that because he was so cutthroat and cunning and would do anything. And that part of himself, when directed in a positive manner, was actually a very cool thing to see. I thought that Crispin was a great hero. I really do. I know that in the beginning he came off as a very bad person that does very bad things, but it made you wonder because I did see hints of a decent person before his accident, and it made me wonder why his motto was trust no one. He didn't trust anybody, and that's the advice he gave to our heroine too, and she held on to that for a very long time after his amnesia. She didn't want to believe. She didn't know what to believe. It was a really good journey to have. I recommend this book completely. I gave it a 4-star rating. Please pick it up when you have time. Loved it. And those are some more historical romance recommendations with a hardened hero. I loved these books. I recommend these books. Please let me know in the comments if you've read them, if you like them, who your favorite hero was. And if you have any that I haven't read before, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I would love to add it to my TBR. Thank you so much for stopping by. My name's B. This is my Romance Corner. You're welcome back anytime. I'll see you next time. Bye.